So BAE Systems has more than tripled in the last 3 years, and in March 2026 it had a new record high of over £23 per share. So if you're looking at the stock today, the one big question is it still a buy after this big massive run up? In this video, I'll break down exactly what BAE does, why it's been one of the secret winners of this decade, the numbers behind the story, and the real risks, so you can make your own decision if this company is a buy. So with all that being said, let's get into the video. So first the basics, because you can't value a company that you don't understand. So BAE Systems is one of the largest defense companies in the world. It is a FTSE 100 giant. It is headquartered in the UK, but it is global, with a huge business in the United States. And in 2025, it generated record sales of £30.7 billion. It builds fighter jets, submarines, warships, armored vehicles, radar, electric warfare systems, and cyber capabilities. And its customers aren't small customers. They have loads of government contracts like the UK Ministry of Defence, the US Department of Defence, you got Saudi Arabia, Australia. In 2024, it pushed further into the US by acquiring Ballspace. This is not a niche player. It sits at the centre of Western defence. It is a global defence company, but it is headquartered here in the UK. Now here's the big thing about this with BAE Systems. So BAE has ridden a global surge in defence spending to record results, and until recently a record share price. Now that's the good news as it has already happened. But the question for anyone buying today is different. Is the sell upside from here, or is this good news already priced in, and will there be a bigger sell-off? And you should hold this question in your minds, because everything that follows up in this video will help you answer this. So let's start with what BAE actually does, because one of its real strengths is how diversified it actually is. The business runs across 5 key areas. The first being air, the Typhoon fighter jet, a key role of the F-35 program. Then we have maritime, Type 26 frigates, and the Astute and the Dreadnought submarines. Then we have electronic systems, you have radar, electric warfare, and the precision guiding munitions largely in the US. Then platforms and services, this is armored vehicles and the munitions for the American military. And then finally you have cyber and intelligence, security work for the government agencies. Now this is 5 sectors for one company, and this spread matters. It is not one single program or customer or contract that can make or break this company. It is already diversified and it is still growing globally. So why defense is such an attractive business to own? It comes down to 3 key things. The government signs long-term contracts, often committing for about a decade or even more. Those contracts are delivered over many years, which gives the company clear visibility on future revenue. And once a platform is in service, BAE earns money maintaining, upgrading and supporting it for decades. It's the same recurring, sticky aftermarket model that Rolls-Royce engines business makes it so powerful, their long-term service agreements. This is a high barrier to entry and revenue you can see coming for years in advance. When it comes to a business, this is what you want. This is one of the most sustainable ways of income, having a service business where it keeps growing and compounding over time, and you know that money will be there. Now the real reason BAE has re-rated so hard is because the defense spending hasn't just ticked up, it has structurally shifted. In June 2025, NATO members committed to move toward 5% of GDP on defense. That's not a one-year bump, it's a multi-year driver. Then you have European budgets which are surging in response to the war in Ukraine and wider geopolitical instability. Then you have US defense spending, BAE's single biggest market, and this continues to grow. And then the result in durable re-rating across the whole sector, with BAE, Rolls-Royce and Babcock the biggest UK beneficiaries. This is the core of the bull case. It's not a trend, it's a shift. A lot of this money is moving into defense, as we can see with all these wars and conflicts coming up. This geopolitical uncertainty, of course, morally isn't the best, but for these defense stocks, it has affected them a lot. And then this big shift is shown in the numbers. So in 2025 full year results, BAE delivered record sales of £30.7 billion, that's up 10%. Underlying operating profit rolled 12% to £3.3 billion, and it generated £2.2 billion in free cash flow. Then in the first half of 2026, the momentum continued, sales up 11%, profit up 13%, and full guidance has held. This isn't a company hoping for growth, it is delivering it in real time. Last year was strong, and even this year it has put up good guidance and it is again looking strong for financial year 2026. But if there's one number that defines BAE, it is this: the order backlog. The value of contracted work still that needs to be delivered, and this stands at a record £83.6 billion, up nearly £6 billion in a single year. To put that into perspective, against annual sales of £30.6 billion, that's roughly 2.7 years of work already on the books and already being signed in. So for investors, that backlog is the single biggest reason that this business has earned its premium. It's the kind of visibility that most companies can only dream of. So what happens next? For 2026, management guides a revenue growth of 7 to 9%, underlying profit of 9 to 11%, and then free cash flow above £1.3 billion. Now you might notice that the cash figure is lower than 2025. That's not weakness. 2025 was an exceptional year for cash. It was an outlier, and the step down is simply timing on custom receipts. The programs driving the business are exactly the ones you'd want to see. You got your Type 26 frigates, your Typhoon deliveries, your US Navy shipbuilding, F-35 support, and precision munitions. They're still growing again, and they're diversified. So looking at the valuation, is it too late? This is the main question that I'm trying to answer. Here's the honest picture. BAE has re-rated hard going through 2025 up until now. Analysts now describe it as no longer cheaper on the conventional metrics, like looking at a PE ratio. It hit a high of about £23 in March, then pulled back around 17%, and even after that fall, it still trades at roughly 24 times forward earnings. Now, this big push-up was mostly driven by the Iran war, and with it still going on, you could argue that's why it is still up. When it does fully end, it might again pull back, but the main thing here is, has it run up too much, and does it justify this massive increase? The share price currently sits around £19-20 with a dividend yield around 1.8% and an average analyst target near £23, which implies some upside from here, but these targets are never a guarantee. And again, with something like BAE, it all depends on the geopolitical uncertainty that's happening all around the world. So the debate is this: is BAE a quality compounder with a genuine structural tailwind, or a stock that has already had its run? This is what is important to take into account for BAE Systems. You have to be reasonable with your thesis. So what are the things that could go wrong? Here are the 5 risks that you should know for BAE. Number 1 is evaluation. After a big move like this, there's less margin of safety, and a lot of the good news you could argue has already been priced in. The number 2 is execution. The challenge now is converting that £83 billion backlog into delivered profit. You got supply chain and factory capacity have to keep pace, and the management flags this as the biggest operational risk. The number 3 is the politics. Defense spending depends on the government budgets and the political willpower. A move towards peace or a budget squeeze could cool sentiment quickly, and this would again pull back BAE even further. And then 4, you have ESG. Some funds exclude defense stocks entirely, which structurally limits part of the buyer's base. This is now taken in a moral case with BAE Systems. And then 5, you have your currency. With a large US business, exchange rate moves affect the reported results. Now, none of these break the thesis on their own, but each is important to take into account before you buy. So looking at the bull and the bear case, let's compare them both. So the bull case is a record £83 billion backlog. You got a structural NATO and European spending tailwind, diversification across 5 sectors, you got strong US exposure, you got multi-year revenue visibility, and a growing dividend for those dividend investors. But the bear case is a stock that is no longer cheap. You got a real execution risk on that backlog, and then the dependence on the government budgets. You have your ESG exclusions that shrink the buyer base, and the currency exposure. I'm not going to hand you a verdict because I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks and months and years. Is this Iran war going to end? Is Trump going to go to Cuba next? These things could positively affect BAE Systems, but let's say all the wars end, there's not much geopolitical uncertainty, the likelihood is that BAE Systems will go down. But over the long term, I can give you this, that this is a good buy, because over the long term, these strong companies will grow and compound, and I don't see BAE Systems as a cyclical company. It is diversified and it is still growing. So in the short term, there might be some volatility, but over the long term, I have no doubts. So wrapping up the video, BAE Systems is one of the biggest defense companies in the world, and it is from here in the UK. It is priced in pounds, it is part of the London Stock Exchange, and this makes it nice to hold. And you have that dividend, which will hopefully grow and compound over time. So over the long term, it is a appealing buy. In the short term, if you think there's going to be more geopolitical uncertainty, it could be a buy right now. But again, we're in this for the long term, and I think it's a decent buy. Another thing to take into account is John Pettigrew. He's come from National Grid. Hopefully, he'll be able to push BAE and propel them towards more growth. Now, everything in this video is for educational and not financial advice. Remember to always do your own research before you invest. If this helped you understand BAE Systems, hit like and subscribe. It genuinely helps this channel grow. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers, so it would be nice if you could subscribe below. And if you want the same breakdown on another British engineering giant, riding the same wave, my Rolls Royce video is linked here next. And I'll see you there. Thank you for watching.